This is the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof B525, and it's the oldest release in nearly 2 years. As you know, prior to 2023, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof Bourbon had a 12-year age statement. Heaven Hill removed the standard in 2023 and has now been using more specific age statements since then. Now, other than the C923, at least for me, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof has been solid, but kind of missing something, missing that depth of flavor I came to know and love from Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Will B525 restore my faith in Elijah Craig Barrel Proof? Come right back and find out. It's the Mash and Drum. What's up, folks? I'm Jason C. from the Mash and Drum, and welcome back to the show. Like, subscribe, and help me keep climbing to 100,000 subscribers here in 2025. We are getting close. All right, so as I mentioned, B525 is the oldest Elijah Craig Barrel Proof we've seen since September 2023, coming in with an age statement of 11 years and 6 months. So we know that's at least the youngest bourbon in the B525 batch. Now, as usual, it's uncut, unfiltered, and is made from Heaven Hill's standard mash bill of 78 corn, 10% rye, and 12% malted barley. Now, this bottle should be rolling out nationwide now with an SRP of 75 bucks. All right, that's right. We're just diving right in on a Friday. Now, I did take a couple pours of this 2 nights ago on my live stream, so let's see if it's opened up. Let's get the full review going. Here we go. Oh yeah, this is already showing a lot of promise here. Okay, I've been saying for the last few Elijah Craig Barrel Proof releases that just something's been missing for me. There's not enough depth to it. Now, that could be from just the way it was blended. It could be from the barrels they used. Either way, whatever that was, there just has been something missing from Elijah Craig Barrel Proof for the last several releases, and it's that dark fruit note that has been missing for me in the last few releases. Now we have that dark cherry, the dark cherry and chocolate. The oak is there for sure, not overpowering. Get a slight hint of citrus here too, a little bit. That was something I wasn't picking up 2 nights ago when I tried it. Yeah, a little bit of citrus here. But man, the cherry, the oak, maybe a hint of like sweet tobacco is there too. But this is the depth of flavor that I feel like we have all come to know and love from Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. So definitely a little bit more promising here. All right, let's taste it, see what we got. We are back, baby. The last few releases, like I said, have been a little bit on the flatter side. The oak has been there, that Heaven Hill nuttiness, but missing the depth of flavor, the dark fruit, even the citrus note I'm picking up here, the butteriness of it. Those notes have just been a little bit missing for me, or just a little bit too flat, just not enough of a burst of flavor. This brings it back to that. I get, again, all that cherry. I get a little pecan pie in there too, but my favorite note that I'm picking up in here, I'm getting a little hint of like a buttery, almost butterscotchy, dare I say, maybe like a toffee note in there to kind of go along with the cherry. It's very sweet. Now, with the proof point being 126.2, it's got a nice little spice to it, but it's a lot. It's carrying a lot more depth than I think that I've tasted in the last few releases. Yeah, I feel like the sweetness factor is just amped up a little bit. It balances out the oak. It balances out the that leathery tobacco note you get on the back end. There's some good spice there. But I'm very surprised at how much citrus I'm picking up here. It's like a cherry orange combo that's kind of right in the mid palate, which is really nice. I do like the finish here. I think the finish has some sweetness to it, but it does give you a little black pepper just to kind of let you know it's there. I wouldn't say this is a super long finish, maybe more of a medium finish on this one, but it's really all about the sweetness here. The sweetness here is what's been missing from Elijah Craig Barrel Proof for me, or I mean, at least more of an elevated sweetness. I think they've all been somewhat sweet, but this has the depth of flavor that's really taking it into different directions. And this is, I feel like I said, I keep repeating myself, but I just feel like this is what's been missing. Yeah, this makes me so happy. It's just good to see Elijah Craig Barrel Proof kind of bring us these flavors. Now, is it as good as C923 was? I don't think it gets to that level. I don't think it has like those really deep, rich aged notes that one had, obviously, but what we're getting here is definitely a more layered experience. And you know, for me, that has been the missing piece to Elijah Craig Barrel Proof the last few releases. So, man, this is really good. Here's the thing, I think this could maybe hang with some of the 12-year age-stated ones, the ones that, you know, before we lost the age statement, in terms of sweetness. However, the depth of the oak, I don't feel like is as rich as it was, you know, when we lost the age statement. But this B525 is definitely a step up than we've gotten recently. So last sip here. Yeah, it's cherry, it's butterscotchy, little buttery. Dude, I love this one. And then on top of that, you have this orange note, this little hint of orange cherry combination right in the mid palate. Gives you a little bit of sweet tobacco on the back end. Not too much oak here. I feel like the focus on this B525 is the sweetness. If you like the cherry, the orange, a little bit of a butterscotch, this is gonna be a favorite. Elijah Craig, B525, it's back. All right, before we do a quick final breakdown, let's go to the question of the day. All right, guys, question of the day comes from Poor Bourbon Decisions. He asks, question, how much time are you devoting weekly on average working on your YouTube channel now versus when you started? Enjoyed the video, keep pouring, cheers. So that's a great question. I think for me in the very beginning, I was pretty excited, but set to do, you know, a couple videos, you know, per week. And I was still learning, you know, audio and video and trying to get all that perfect. But I think when COVID happened and then the whole whiskey tube movement really got popular and people were wanting more content because everybody was home, I think that's when everything amped up a bit. And I'll be completely honest with you, I still have a 9-to-5 job. And when that was happening during COVID, and then when we got back to work, I had a really, really hard time balancing the two. I had to kind of learn better how to balance those two things that I had going on in my life. And you know, I struggled with it because I was doing way more content during COVID than I was once we got out of COVID. But even now, if we fast forward to now, I think I have a really good cadence, and in terms of hours, I'd probably say I spend at least 2, 4, 6, probably 10 to 12 hours a week just doing the whiskey stuff. Yeah, considering what it's now to when it first started, considering the quality I have to keep up and the quality that I demand from myself, I think it's definitely a lot more intense now than it was then. All right, thanks to Poor Bourbon Decisions for that question. If you guys have a question of the day, make sure you leave it down in the comments below, and let's go to the final breakdown. All right, final breakdown here for the Elijah Craig B525 Barrel Proof. Price for this one, $75 SRP. It's still too early to see it on the resale market yet, but we'll keep an eye on that. As far as availability, these have, I'm gonna say below average because I think usually this is limited, but I think Elijah Craig Barrel Proofs have been sitting around a little bit more because people have thought the quality and what they expect has kind of dipped down a bit. But we'll see what happens with this one because I do think this is a better bourbon in the bottle. When it comes to value, I've been giving Elijah Craig a little bit more of a above average type of rating because, you know, I just haven't been enjoying the batches as of late. But this one, I'm gonna get this one back to a high value because what you're getting in the bottle I think is absolutely sweet. It's delicious. And on top of that, for only 75 bucks, I think it's a high value for what you're getting. Most I pay here is still gonna be retail. I'm not willing to overpay for an Elijah Craig Barrel Proof just yet. I just feel like the price of what it's at and what you're getting, it's still pretty, it's pretty good for B525. So I'm gonna keep this at paying retail. As far as alternatives here, I think we could kind of get back to some of the usual suspects when it comes to this bottle. Rare Breed from Wild Turkey, which is a little bit cheaper than this bottle is. Also has some good aged whiskey in there. Some Four Roses Private Selects, I think, depending on the recipe, can get close to what this is offering. And lastly, would probably be the Green River Full Proof, which is a great price. It's got some decent age to it, not as much as this, but I think the citrus profile is there that can maybe not so much get to this level, but can get close. And lastly, is this a skip, a try before you buy, or buy and back it up? I'm telling you, this is like buy, borderline back it up. Like I really like this batch, and it's selfishly only because I'm picking up like that butterscotchy note in there, that a little bit of a toffee note. And this is kind of nice because when I tried it on Wednesday night, I was trying other things. So to try it on its own, I'm really getting like the different flavors and nuances here. I do wish it had a little bit of a longer finish, which probably keeps me from saying back it up. So I think overall I'll just say buy. But if you tried and you love it and you could still find this in your area, you might end up getting two once you try it. I do think that Elijah Craig Barrel Proof really kind of gave us a nice surprise with this one. I do think that the blending is great in this one, but for this one in particular, whatever they did, maybe using the older whiskey, maybe the way they blended it, but it just has so much more depth of flavor than I feel like we've gotten recently. And for that, Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, at least for B525, at least for a little bit, it's back. All right, guys, hope you enjoyed this review for the new Elijah Craig Barrel Proof B525. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that subscribe button below. Please hit the like button. And if you haven't yet, follow me on Instagram. Let me know down in the comments if you've been as disappointed in ECBP recently as I've been, and are you now excited to get back into maybe picking up the B525 and maybe, you know, ECBP getting back to its roots a little bit. So again, as I always say, it's not about the whiskey, it's the people you share it with, and I will see you next time right here on The Mash and Drum. We have a lot more content coming next week, so stay tuned. Cheers, guys.